Asmita, welcome to the show. Welcome to Data Talks. Those of you who don't know, but I think most of you know, Asmita Dubey, Chief Marketing and Digital Officer at L'Oreal, Marketer of the Year, and a lot of recognitions, which would take a long time to cover. But so nice to have you, Asmita.
It's my pleasure, Wolfgang, and thank you for the partnership for all these years.
Absolutely. There's been a long-term partnership. We touched on a few points, but the main part I want to start with is also the personal journey, the person behind the data. We have one thing in common, which is most of our education was actually in our home country, and only then we left home. And so tell me about your upbringing in India and then how your global journey evolved.
Absolutely. So, my name is Asmita Dubey, and I was born and raised in India, like you said. And as a kid, I was good at math. A lot of Indian children are encouraged to study STEM subjects, and still, while when I was a teenager, I used to love expressing myself, writing poetry, and I did a bit of both at that time. But when I went to college, I picked up BSc in statistics honors, and great, very, very good empirical grounding there. But even in Delhi University, I think I was like, uh, you like to multitask. So I ended up going and fighting elections in my college at that time, which was Hindu college, and became the magazine editor. So it went from, being in computer science and maths classes to reading poetries and articles and designs for the whole thing. I finished my studies and joined advertising because I wanted that creative side of life. But advertising is a good way of being commercial in the creative side of life. And there I joined a typical agency with creative media, everything, did that for a few years, and then requested my management that I'd like to shift to media because there was so much work happening with numbers, and computers used to be new then, and it really fascinated me and I felt I could do that well. uh, and it was a very unusual ask because people said, you're doing fine, why do you want to change? And I said, I really think I know how to do that. And that, on hindsight, it was very good. Again, coming to the math of the whole advertising business was a good thing to understand. I moved to China with my family quite early on, back in 2005, during my work in advertising, and got to know a country which was becoming more affluent, digitalizing. The middle class was growing, and you could see a whole nation changing because from 2005 to 2017, for 12 years, I was in China, and that is where I joined L'Oreal. So when I joined L'Oreal, it was a wonderful turning point for me. Also because L'Oreal has this culture of poets and peasants, when beauty is an offer driven business, it is about desire. So we have beautiful brands, and the whole creativity of the brand building on one side, but on the other side, it's a very analytical company, super data driven, has adopted digitalization, is championing beauty tech. So there is this marriage of the math and magic comes to a very, very good point in my work and career today. I work in Paris now, in a global role, with the executive committee and with all the teams of L'Oreal.
Well, so many fantastic things to touch on, Asmita. Do you still write poetry? Do you still have time for that?
I write a bit, and then I'm like kind of thinking. So I have two backup careers: one to write something, and two to teach math in primary school. So I may end up doing both.
Well, if you need another backup, please call me before Asmita. But on a different note, you just mentioned math and magic, and I think some describe it left brain and right brain. Walk us through your philosophy, how to be also effective as a leader, also to the younger generation that watches this. What would you tell them about the math and the magic?
Yeah. Uh, I think if we just look around us, there is a technological layer on all aspects of our consumers' lives. Of course, there are transformative technologies like AI, Gen AI, agentic AI, but there is also large scale digital infrastructure. There is a growing service economy, and all that is redefining consumer expectations in beauty also. So on one hand, all this technology is coming towards us and in marketing, and on the other hand, we see an like immense creativity amongst beauty brands, beauty players, amongst the creator economy. They're moving at the speed of culture. So what we say is that we want to augment marketing, and we want to augment marketing with the blend of this dual muscle. And this dual muscle is both creativity and technology, math and magic, institution, the power of our brands, as well as individuals, the influence of the creator economy, where there are a lot of individual influences coming on to consumers. We want to recruit consumers in this world, but also retain them. And we want to move with speed, but also scale things. So there's always this dual muscle in order to build our brands in the short term, but and drive short term ROI, but also build long term brand equity. So this is what we call like having these skills of this dual muscle of math and magic, because the blend is very, very powerful in today's world, and we want to augment marketing like that.
Well, wonderful perspective, Asmita. The other aspect you mentioned, and also what we have a bit in common, is we moved around the world with our families. And the other commonality is, but I need to tell the audience, I'm a bit older than Asmita, but we are still both Generation X. Actually, we just published a report on Gen X, and we have Gen Z children. What's your perspective on generations and globalization and living a global life with a family?
Oh, that's such a nice and interesting question, both from personal as well as professional point of view. So it is true that that I have two boys who are very much Gen Z. They're in their early 20s and going, an adult going from 18 to 19, and they're wonderful children. I mean, I really like the Gen Z for their values, for their idealism, and at the same time, they are growing up and getting into the job market in a world which is slightly more uncertain than when I felt I was getting into the job market in the late 90s. And everything felt very, very optimistic. But this is a resilient generation, and if we talk about, and it's a very, very large population, in the end. And this is some of the data from your side. When we look at the Gen Z, from 2025 to 2030, there will be almost 400 million more Gen Z around the world. At the same time, there is a big, significant part of the population who is growing more mature and older, people like you and me, who are in our 50s and will be touching 60. So the boomers are there, and the boomers may go down in numbers, but the Gen X will increase, and they will increase by almost 300 million people. And if you start now looking into in our work life, in beauty, in marketing around us, what are the differences between the Gen Z and the Gen X? I would just go back to the fundamentals of these people and how they consume and what they consume and all, and taking it a bit from the beauty lens. If you look at the Gen Z versus Gen X, look at their geography, where they are more. So of course they are everywhere in the world, in every country, but the center of gravity and the increase for the Gen Z, it is far more in the emerging markets, because there's a lot of young populations, and these populations are growing in the emerging markets. And the the Gen X are more spread out across the world. They are absolutely very, very influential in the developed world. So the geography itself is slightly different if we are over skewing or over indexing on these populations. Then when we come to their product choices and what they consume, the Gen Z are very experimental. I mean, they are deep into beauty. They want to learn, they want to test, they want to try. They love new fragrances. They want to try hair care products. So there is a lot of experimentation going on there. As far as the Gen Z is concerned, they have routines, and good routines on beauty. And then with increasing lifespan and increasing health span, with the reframing of age and longevity, there are things coming, there are new needs coming to the Gen X. Whether it's fine lines, whether it's personalized beauty, biometric data, how to have a lifespan, health span, beauty span that is for them and made to measure for them. So the product choices are also, I mean, we have to look at which generation is going to use what and what is most relevant for them. Then when it comes to like how the rules of engagement with these two generations, so rules of engagement are quite specific. I mean, we see everywhere around us the Gen Z is into shorts. They have a small, an attention span which is very much about multitasking. They're on TikTok, they're on Reddit, they're on peer-to-peer reviews. They want to listen to other people like them to make their opinions about brands and products that they use, into reviews and ratings. So those are the ways to engage with them. For the Gen X, I would say that we know the rules of engagement. The rules of engagement are still digitalizing. So they are moving from television to connected TV to streaming. They are moving from sports to even more live sports, from entertainment to even more live entertainment to eventing. So the rules of engagement differ. And the last thing I would say, and in the current context at least, the sense of value for money is slightly different, because the Gen Z is looking for the right product, right offer at the right price. Uh, and so are other age groups, but it is even more predominant for the Gen Z, because they can be very mindful of how they are consuming and what they are consuming at what price. Then at L'Oreal, what we also define beyond the consuming class is the addressable target. And the addressable target is for our mass beauty brands, and it is our core target group. And when we say it is our core target group, first, we talk to people who are more than $22 per day per person income at purchasing power parity. And second, we put an age filter. So we talk to people who are more than 15-year-old, because we also have a group policy that we do not address, we do not intentionally target children. So when we are targeting, and it's an addressable target, it has to be more than 15-year-old people that we are talking to. So that is the reason we define this further, in terms of a core target.
Thanks so much also for the deep partnership. And I think we did together a lot of interesting work, and your team was always very instrumental to help shape this beauty data model. I want to switch to a related topic that you have been also very prominent on, Asmita, which is beauty tech. And I know you're equally passionate about. So tell us more about it. Also, I think you launched a number of products at Viva Tech about, again, this interplay also between the digital and the physical work. Because ultimately, beauty is still a physical product often, but there's also this digital element to it. So tell us about beauty tech and what's yet to happen.
Sure, with great pleasure. So it is absolutely, you're right that at L'Oreal we are championing beauty tech, And beauty tech to us means a new kind of relationship with our consumers, one that is based on technology, on data, and on AI. And we believe that for today and for tomorrow, beauty tech is essential across many different layers. It is essential to get to know our consumers more intimately. So whether it is to understand ingredients in more detail, or understand real-time consumer insights on TikTok and on Reddit, we need the use of technology to be able to do that and to percolate it to everyone around the world at the same time. It is also important to astonish our consumers with great innovations. And when I say that we use beauty tech, and beauty tech is a way to bring elevated innovations, that is because, take the example of Airlight Pro. So Airlight Pro is this revolution in hair drying, because in hair drying you use air and heat, but Airlight Pro uses air, heat, and light, because it uses a technology of infrared light, because of which the drying is faster and without any damage to the hair. So with beauty tech, we are bringing these innovations to our consumers, which are absolutely novel and absolutely revolutionizing. Then beauty tech also elevates us beyond these devices and products to bring services to our consumers. And when I talk about services, we mentioned before that the service economy is growing. So we are bringing services which can help our consumers to diagnose themselves, to treat themselves, to coach themselves, or to look at themselves on and compare, like a virtual try-on. So our virtual try-ons on makeup and hair color are available for so many of our brands on our websites and on retailer platforms. Our skin diagnosis is, and you spoke about O+O service. So we have skin diagnosis, which is based on image recognition technology, but that is available as a physical device on the stores for brands like Lancome, Kiehl's, Uh, but they're also available on the website as a digital service. Yeah. And then there are services like Spot Scan, where then we go one step further and start connecting it to a specific consumer need like acne, and then advising routines to them, helping to make form habits, partnering with partners like Calm, which also help both mental and physical side of that, addressing that routine. So we bring a lot of services, and these are part of beauty tech. And finally, what I would say is that we are also using beauty tech to augment the beauty consumer journey, because the beauty consumer journey, and we spoke about it before, the consumer is adopting technology. This technology can be like streaming, scrolling, searching, shopping. All of that uses technology today. So beauty tech to us is across this value chain that we are using it.
So well put, Asmita. And let me then use this discussion to think a bit ahead in the future. If you think of the three mega trends, or three of what I think are the big mega trends, one is the rise of Asia, the second is digitalization, and the third is aging and also premiumization to some extent with aging together. How do you see the beauty industry and L'Oreal in, say, 2030, which is very short term, surprisingly it feels like short term, but then also 2040?
Yeah, okay. Future of beauty.
The future.
Uh, well, we believe that the appetite for beauty is very, very dynamic. Beauty also has a dopamine effect. So therefore, the category is very resilient to any economic uncertainty. And exactly like you mentioned, if you look at the big consumer trends that are shaping the future of beauty today and tomorrow, I would say the three that you're mentioning, and I'm going to come back to that. But to start with, a very broad and macro trend where health, wellness, holistic well being, and beauty are all coming together. So consumers are much more health conscious, and beauty and health are, kind of talking to each other much more than before. So that is a big trend. And the second one, like you said, this reframing of aging because of an increasing lifespan, because of an increasing health span. And therefore, there L'Oreal has come up with the Wheel of Longevity. Wheel of Longevity is about all the biomarkers, which start to define aging, understanding skin aging. Then we have come up with a device, we spoke about beauty tech, which is Cell Bioprint, which measures some of these biomarkers. Then we have a product on Lancome Absolute, which is around longevity. So we are absolutely working on this reframing of aging point, just as we are working on health, wellness, and beauty. The third trend, I would say, and it is shaping, is also more expertise and more experiences both. And when we say more expertise, it's the professional level expertise. It's about more performance. It's about being able to measure the biomarkers, of our skin, of the beauty, in whatever shape and form that we want to understand, the hair or the skin, for us. And the rise of Asia, and related to that, I think everywhere in the world, there is also a consumer trend in a more enhanced pride in their own heritage. So because of that, we see around us the rise of Chinese beauty, Japanese beauty, Korean beauty, Indian beauty. And we have to move at the speed of culture, and we have to be locally relevant to our consumers to be able to engage with them everywhere around the world. And the last one, which is hopefully a bit the current context in 2025, is the consumers are also concerned about mindful consumption and simplifying their routines and more value for money. So those are the things we see around us, and we are very much on those trends, and we are very, very excited about the future of beauty, and also the future of beauty using technology, in the future.
So well put, Asmita. Thank you. So let me add a final question on that global beauty market and the future of beauty, also the future of big beauty companies, L'Oreal being the number one in the world. And again, you defended that number one position for a long time. Other companies have been struggling, I think also a bit linked to China. And then there's new players emerging and new trends emerging. How does L'Oreal, it's not always easy to defend your position as number one. And I know in China, L'Oreal comes again, I got a bit stronger this year. Tell us the global landscape and the positioning of the company vis-a-vis competitors.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't. I mean, we love competitions, but it's less about what I would talk to you about is, again, to first say that how optimistic we are about the appetite of beauty everywhere around the world. Yeah, and that appetite of beauty is very resilient, because even this year one could estimate that the beauty market would grow at around 4% and faster than the GDP around the world. uh, then when we come to L'Oreal, we and our CEO was talking about it, in the half yearly plan, that we have a beauty stimulus plan. And when we talk about a beauty stimulus plan, it comes back to our DNA of innovation, where we bring the best of products, serving the consumers, looking after their trends. And it could be products like Kerastase, a new Absolute, or it could be the SkinCeutical Petiox, or it could be Prada men's fragrances. And all of these products are fantastic innovations that we are bringing to our consumer. And our consumer has the appetite for more expertise, more performance, better products. And this is how we keep our edge. Then I would also add one more thing, that we are also, and we spoke about technology. So for us, innovation is in our DNA, and innovation is about science, technology, and creativity. Yeah, and we innovate across the three of them, and that is again how we keep our edge. And the last point is AI is coming, and we are kind of preparing ourselves for that. We know that the consumer journey is getting augmented across the funnel. We know marketing end-to-end value chain is getting augmented. So on one hand, we are bringing new agentic AI services like Beauty Genius, which is a 24/7 available in our consumers' pocket, because consumers are learning new ways to discover product with AI. And then on the other hand, we're also augmenting our marketeers, and we are bringing them tools like Createch. Createch is our Gen AI beauty content platform and tool, on which they can do hands-on. They can create backgrounds and different shots, and put their products inside them at a much faster pace, and learn this new technology. So we, like I said, we kind of our pillars of innovation are science, technology, and creativity.
Yeah. Well, it seems opportunities are everywhere and still. And I guess it's just the imagination and the organization that is needed just to execute on it. As we close, Asmita, I have two more points. Maybe want to come back to something we touched on earlier, including our generation, our children. If you look at your children's generation, and assuming that their friends or them want to go into marketing, what's your advice to them?
My advice to them is I absolutely welcome them to come to marketing. I think it's a field where, and again, I come back to the point of dual muscle. The new generation that is coming to marketing, it is such an exciting time for marketing, because technology is coming to creativity and marketing like never before. And therefore, they have this opportunity to look at marketing with this dual muscle, that they can use their left brain as well as right brain. They can play with both creativity and technology, and that is such an exciting time for marketing, for people who are coming into marketing now.
Well, there's something else we have in common, because my daughter is in that field. She's actually in Amsterdam, which connects actually to Meralda, who's in your team as well. We will end this podcast, Smita, traditionally with a special question, which is: do you have a favorite number? And tell us the story around your favorite number.
Well, I would, since we have been talking about both math and magic, I will put a number which is on, or probably covering both. First, infinity. Infinity is not a number, but infinity has the magic in it, because it has the magic of infinite possibilities. And I love that number. And then, of course, I also love very much, there's only one number you asked for, but the other number I love is zero. And in the complexity of today's world, I think we have to constantly come back to ground zero and look at things in very fundamental ways, which is where it helps us to give clarity and direction.
Wow, I didn't expect that answer, and maybe the world lost the mathematician in you. But really appreciate to be with you, Asmita, in this podcast. Please, listeners, join for the next version. We have a number of big leaders as well, but congratulations.